you've become such a powerful influence in the geek girl culture, and I was just wondering if you could talk about moving it forward and where you plan to go next. Are you going to do more web series other than the Guild and produce more? Or are you just busy with that right now at the moment?
Yeah, thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah.
You know, when I started doing this, I didn't expect to ever be somebody.
I feel like you've been a pioneer, to be honest.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I never set out to do anything but just make something that was fun.
Yeah.
I think it is inspiring to me even that other people take what I do and look at it as sort of something to look up to as a role model, or to maybe even inspire what other people do with their creativity. And I think that maybe there's not as many role models out there for women as there could be, so maybe it wasn't particularly me, maybe it just was a spot to fill in a time that geek culture is becoming a lot more prominent. But I'm really honored to be looked at like that, and I take it seriously. So for me, it's always very important to be always setting the example that, you know, in business and in creativity, women can lead, and you don't really have to draw attention to it as much. You just have to be yourself. Because I think the more unconscious we become about gender roles in various fields, the more that people will adopt them and accept them without pointing them out. I mean, that's just what my personal opinion. I know that some women might need more support group as far as being a geek girl identity, and I do think that that's important for some people, and I think it's really sad that there seems to be a backlash against that. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I consider it my role to just take the knocks and not apologize for what I'm doing, right. Because I'm fine to be abused by the population if it draws more attention to me, the jerks being abusing people.
Right. And then, so you do the
as far as web
you
series,
do Geek and Sundry, but are you going to be doing another full series?
We just wrapped Guild Season 6
okay.
2 days ago, so that's very exciting. It was kind of a wrap gift for us to come to this convention all together. Okay. So we will be releasing that this fall on Geek and Sundry. And I have 6 other shows that we're producing there. We'll see if we're getting picked up for another season, another year of content before the end of the year, hopefully. So, you know, hopefully our views and our subscriber count is high, and they see us worthy of being invested in again. As far as personally, you know, I'm definitely interested in telling bigger stories. You know, after doing Dragon Age on a very small budget, and then Guild Season, 6 still on a small budget, part of me really would like to kind of be able to tackle something on a larger scope. And I don't know whether that's TV or whether it's just a bigger web series. I feel like I've proven myself that I'm worthy of investing in, and it seems like people are investing a lot into space now. So if other people could get that much money to do the things they love, I don't see why I shouldn't be able to. So I'm actually taking the rest of the year off to sort of think about that project that would be worthy of that.
That's interesting.
So yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, so I love your book club.
Thank you.
It's so much fun. Do you have anything in the works to do more like interactive things? Like I like that you guys read from the Twitter comments and the Goodreads forum, and it's just like such a great way to get everyone involved in what you're doing.
Yeah, that's like totally was a hobby that I did because it was fun, and I think that's kind of the internet is telling you, hey, something's going to be, people will rally around something that's popular versus like the production value or all this stuff. That's kind of the challenge of the internet, and also kind of the blessing. So I moved it to Geek and Sundry because we decided to do a hangout every Tuesday, just as an event. It was a kind of a low budget way we could add content, and I love the fact that it's kind of visual fantasy has become sort of the rallying community show. I was totally floored when people on the forum started to do local meetups. I mean, we have like 15 local meetups happening, and maybe it's only like 5 women in each city, but like that's something that could grow into something really awesome. And I love how supportive the community is. Whether you're a guy or a girl, you're really welcome to the community. Everybody just has fun reading these books. So as far as like further plans, I just want to foster that environment. We don't really have the bandwidth to support each local group as much as I would like. So it's kind of my long-term project to at least get them a starter kit and sort of celebrate their participation and start calling out community members that are particularly active, and then also maybe expanding the actual show into something. I mean, my dream would be to do like a tour, a podcasting tour, where we do into all the big cities where We have really active fan bases, so that's all long term. For now, we just do a book a month, and next month is Cthulhu Erotica and reading like this dinosaur shapeshifter book where he fights vampires. I don't know. So it's really fun, and it's like the one thing I do every month that doesn't really require any preparation other than what I do and naturally read.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In your role as Holly Martin on Eureka, you have a lot of great moments. Do you have a favorite?
I particularly loved playing evil because I've never actually been given the opportunity to play evil before. So when I read that script and I turned out to be, spoiler, the bad guy, it was the best fun ever because it was just an acting challenge I've ever done. And, to me, I don't have a lot of time to do a lot of acting as much as I'd like. I'd like to do more this upcoming year that's maybe not my own projects, to be able to balance it out with all the things that I've done on my own. And so it was such a gift to be able to see something I'd never done before and do it. And then that's kind of led me to be a little bit more picky. It has to be something that's either something that's a challenge for me personally, or something that I know that the people who love what I do will love that character as much as they love the other characters I do.
I'm curious about your time management. You're so busy, Geek and Sundry, and you're doing Eureka, and the Guild just wrapped, Husbands is coming up, and book club. Amy, how do you find time to do everything and stay on track?
It's really challenging, and I tend to work until I just collapse. So I actually got pneumonia at the end of April after we launched Geek and Sundry, and it really affected my health really badly. I think I popped my eardrum too. Like, it still needs to be surgery on my eardrum because I flew like 100 times last year. So it's actually become one of my goals to like sort of be able to delegate a little bit better, and also just be a little bit more ruthless about my time. I don't like to disappoint people. I always like to support every single person. And I guess you reach a kind of tipping point where you just know too many people and you're a little bit too well known, where you can make everybody happy. And that really, I kind of liked when I really knew everybody in an intimate way who loved my show. Like, that was almost a little more rewarding than becoming a little bit more where people know you 3 steps away from who you are, really. So, I mean, that's just the inevitability of being a little bit, more successful and doing more shows. And I mean, that's a blessing as well, too. So I can't complain. I think it's just always has to go back to your priorities. And like, I love making things, but at the same time, I've neglected some, I tend to like sort of hold myself up and work a lot. So it's kind of my goal, especially for next year, to balance that a little bit better. But as far as time management, like, you just have to really be very clear about what you need to get accomplished. And I tend to be a little paranoid. I do a lot of tower defense games. So I tend to think ahead a lot, and I plan very well to sort of divide up the time into little pieces to reach an end goal. So I tend to really hate rushing things. So I'll know that a due date is 3 months in advance, and I literally will, sort of pace myself to make that comfortable so that I do the best job along the way. And, it's always something I do at the end of the night is I just really gather what I need to do the next day for all the projects. I mean, I just use TextEdit. And I just put down every single show that needs tending to and making sure that I go over that checklist and make sure there's not anything I'm neglecting. So it's really just constantly checking in with yourself and prioritizing and doing it in a way that it's not like a free-for-all. It's really very measured planning along the way, and that's really the only way I get it done. And great people around me who help me make the things that I make.
Well, we're a college television station, so what advice would you give college students who are trying to maybe break out in the entertainment industry?
I probably shouldn't tell them this, but I think that you can take so many classes, and to me, I think if you're going to be in entertainment, it may not be so wise to do an entertainment degree all the way. I think the things that you bring to a creative field are your diversity and your uniqueness. So if everybody has the same kind of degree and same kind of background, they're not going to tell different stories. So, the variety of life is what informs what you create. And so I would advise people to take classes in things that you never think you're going to use, because it's going to become more useful than anything you actually think is useful. And then also that you really can't learn unless you actually work. And there's just, I mean, I've met so many students with like hugely expensive, Ivy League degrees, and really they learn more in a week on a set than they would the full 4 years. And really that's, there's obviously a role for the knowledge that you gather during college, but that's what I'm saying, like, gather as much diverse knowledge as you can, and then actually along the way do the things that you want to do. There's always a student production you can do. There's always one that you can make yourself. There's always somebody who wants to volunteer to just run coffee for people. You'll learn more doing that than anything, because that's really the most important thing, is experience.
Thank you.
I would just like to know about your Dragon Con experience. What's it like for you coming to a con like this? And does that feed you creatively, the energy you get from the fans that come to see you?
I think so. I mean, I definitely think that, especially Dragon Con for me is, like, I get to enjoy myself. I don't actually get to go to the panels that I'd like to, or, I'd love to go down to Artist Alley and meet some of the artists I love, and Author Alley, and meet all the people that I love from my book club. Unfortunately, my schedule's so packed, but I do have the most fun at this convention of any of them. I always take an hour and a half and walk around and take pictures of all the costumes, and I'll gather all my friends and we'll all go to like last night we all went to the disco, MMO disco, and we danced all night. So to me that's the huge fun, and I get to meet authors. They'll come, I'll meet them somewhere like randomly, and I'll be as excited about them as they might be about my work. So I think somebody said that Dragon Con's the only place that hipsters would never be able to be ironic, because there's just no way to make people ashamed of what they are or who they are here. Like, there's just people accepting themselves and then enjoying that with other people. That's why I think this is like the most beautiful con.